Light travels faster than your panic. That's the whole advantage. When your brain starts staging a disaster film, light just shrugs and sprints to the horizon. Panic yells, photons whisper to everyone at once. This story is about borrowing that speed. You don't need a satellite phone or a Hollywood flare gun. You need a shiny thing and a little geometry. We'll turn a scrap of metal, a phone screen, or even a calm water surface into a voice that hops valleys. It's not magic, it's optics with a sense of urgency. Today, you'll learn how to aim sunlight like a message and make it louder than lungs. Welcome to a survival trick that fits in a pocket and outruns every what if in your head. Chapter 1 begins in a place you didn't plan to visit. The middle of nowhere. With your sense of direction, you take stock. You have hands, daylight, a piece of tin from a snack wrapper, maybe a stainless bottle cap, maybe a still puddle masquerading as a mirror. No megaphone, no smoke machine, just a star that never misses a call. Your job isn't to scream, it's to speak the sun's language. Craft a mirror, hold steady, and think like a lighthouse. You're about to align three things: the sun, your reflector, and the person who needs to see you. Start with the challenge. Craft the mirror. Metalworks polish the flat spot on a can lid. Wipe a phone screen, even wet a broadleaf to fake gloss. Water in a pot or a small puddle becomes a surprisingly sharp reflector if the surface is still. Shield it from wind. Let the ripples settle, and you've got a tiny helograph. Keep your hands out of the beam path. Grease smudges scatter light. Position yourself with the sun behind you at shoulder height. Your goal, ESNT, to blind anyone. It's to put a clean, controlled gleam exactly where help lives. Now the aiming trick. Extend one arm and sight along two fingertips. One finger points to the sun. The other points to the rescue tower 500 meters away. Maybe an actual tower. Maybe a trail ridge. Maybe a road's bright sign. Tilt your reflective surface until the sun's glare lands on your nearer finger. Then slide that glare onto your far side finger. Then nudge it beyond to your target. It's like tossing a paper airplane made of light. Keep the movement small. You're not painting a wall, you're threading a needle from half a kilometer. Bridging the science. Light is obedient. The law of reflection says the angle in equals the angle out. E equals air. If you want to sound clever, your mirror doesn't negotiate. It simply bounces rays the way a billiard ball bounces off a cushion. If the sun, your reflector, and the tower are all on the same geometric conversation, the message gets delivered. Wobble breaks the sentence. Steadiness makes it shout. Press your elbows against your ribs or rest the reflector on your knee. Stability is free brightness. Let's make that brightness count. Intensity fades with distance roughly, with 1 over r squared, so every wobble wastes power. You can't change physics, but you can cheat perception. Add motion and pattern. A steady glare can be mistaken for chance. A deliberate flicker is a sentence. Try 3 quick flashes. Pause, then 3 again. It's a rhythm the human eye loves, and brains flag as intentional. That cadence punches through noise better than a single, lazy glint. Think more sish, without the homework. Use the environment like you paid for it. A light splash on dark rock pops. A blink on a glass window travels into rooms. Snow or pale walls scatter your signal farther. If the tower is manned, aim at the shadowed side of the structure. They'll notice a sudden bright dot dancing in the dim. If you only see a path, pick a static landmark signpost. Switch back, vehicle roofline, and tap it with your glints. People track motion. Give them a breadcrumb trail of shine. What about the sun's smooth swings? If it's low on the horizon, you'll get a warmer, softer beam, good for drama, not for brute force. Midday turns your reflector into a tiny solar cannon. Overcast doesn't always mean no. Thin cloud still beams diffuse light. Try a larger surface and faster flicks. If the sky is a heavy blanket, pivot the strategy. Seek elevation and contrast movement, color or smoke, but if any crack of sun shows up, switch back to optics. Light is the first responder that never emails out of office. Bridge to chapter 2. So you've built your mirror and taught it to talk. Now we tighten the technique and stack advantages. We'll borrow the rules of cameras and stage lighting, then mash them with hilltop wisdom. this isn't academic, it's stagecraft for being found. Chapter 2 is about control. How to frame the sun, how to brace your shot, and how to use timing like a megaphone. If Chapter 1 made a glint, Chapter 2 makes a conversation. Bring patience. Also bring that snack wrapper you're about to make it famous. Chapter 2 starts with a tripod you already own, your bones. Kneel, elbows locked into ribs. If you can, rest the mirror on a hat brim or a trekking pole. The steadier your rig, the tighter your beam. Think shutter speed. During each flash, freeze. Between flashes, reset smoothly. Aim off target, then sweep through it during the on moment. That sweep introduces motion the eye loves, but the freeze gives a crisp hit. It's lighthouse logic. Spin, blaze, silence, repeat. Rhythm sells it. Nix, framing. Turn your body so the sun sits just over your shoulder. This keeps your retina happy and your target bright. If the sun is directly behind you, your shadow may block your own aiming references. Step sideways a pace. If glare of the mirror blinds you, cock the surface slightly, aim via the edge reflection, then roll into the hit. Keep breathing literally. Inhale while aligning, exhale during the flash. A calm body makes neat angles. Performer's breath is free stabilization. Add a sighting hole if you can spare seconds. Poke a pinhole in a card or fold the snack wrapper to make a tiny aperture. When the sun's image passes through that hole and lands on your far target line, your mirror is properly set. It's a DIY aiming reticle. No card. Use the shadow of your other hand align the shadow's fingertip with your beacon spot. Remember, I equals R isn't a suggestion. If the geometry lines up, the beam arrives. Even if nobody clapped for your math teacher. Now the pattern. 3 bright flashes. Pause 2 heartbeats. 3 again. Keep the spacing consistent. You're competing with reflections from water, glass, and the general glitter of daytime. Consistency screams signal. If you need to say yes, make a single long flash. 4 no. Too short. Keep the triple as your headline. When tired, rotate roles. One person aims, the other calls timing on, off, on. You've invented a tiny lighthouse crew. Congratulations, your management. Range matters, so give your light somewhere to land. If the tower is 500 meters out, their field of view is tight. Pick the most contrasting surface you can see on it. A dark panel, a shaded door, a matte sign. If vegetation hides everything, aim slightly above the skyline where the silhouette is clean. Your flashes paint the air. Moving targets, lead them. Sweep the beam ahead of their path and let them walk into the glint. The eye hunts for edges and change. Serve both. Upgrade your mirror if time allows. Rub the metal with fine dirt, then polish with cloth to even microscope. The goal isn't a perfect vanity mirror. It's a diffuser with a convincing specular bite. A phone screen with max brightness can help frame aim, but the sun is the amplifier. Keep water surfaces glassy by shielding with your body. If ripples persist, wait for the lull and fire your triple. Patience is a multiplier. Rushing is a dimmer switch. Heat and fatigue make hands jitter. Use tools as crutches. A trekking pole becomes a stand. A shoestring becomes a sling. A jacket rolled into a rest tames tremors. If your shoulders ache, switch to a two-handed pinch at the mirror edges and let your forearms rest on your knees. Rotating crews every minute keeps signals sharp. Mistakes happen. Repeating the pattern politely apologizes. Light is forgiving if you are consistent. Bridge to conclusion. At this point, you have a voice that outruns wind, terrain, and adrenaline. You aimed with geometry, boosted with rhythm, and negotiated with the sun like an old friend. Whether you're flagging a ranger station, a distant boat, or a road that can carry a message, you've turned scrap into signal. Let's land this with a recap. You can remember even when your brain is doing jumping jacks and your heart thinks it's a drummer. Here's the essence. Craft a reflector from whatever shines. Put the sun at your shoulder. Aim with the law of reflection. Brace like a camera operator. Fire 3 bright flashes. Pause. Repeat. Use contrast, motion, and timing to beat the background. Remember inverse square. Distance eats brightness, so precision feeds visibility. When clouds thicken, pivot to movement or color, but return to light the second it peeks through. Loud lungs fade. Smart light carries. Take away time. A bright controlled glint travels farther, clearer, and kinder to your throat than any shout. Geometry gives you aim. Rhythm gives you meaning. Even at 500 meters, a disciplined flash beats a desperate wave. Your mirror is not just a shiny thing. It's a decision to be found sooner. It turns sunlight into language and language into help. That's not gear, that's agency. Put it in your kit, and more importantly, put it in your habits. Final note before we close. Practice when you aren't scared. Teach a kid to aim a beam across a field. Time your triple with a friend at the park. Learn how your hands behave in wind, how your eyes track glare, how your shoulders prefer to brace. The field forgives the prepared. When the real day arrives, your body will remember the choreography and your brain can spend calories on judgment, not on inventing steps. Rehearsal is a rescue you do in advance. Chapter 2 exits, but the skill stays. If Chapter 1 gave you the tool and Chapter 2 gave you the polish, the conclusion is a promise. You can make light talk from a coast bluff, a mountain saddle, a warehouse roof. Anywhere the sun reaches you can reach back. It's strangely comforting to know that, of all the things that can fail, the physics won't. The sun keeps its appointments. Your job is to show up with a mirror and a plan. We're back where we started. Light outruns panic. You don't have to be loud to be heard. You have to be intentional. Craft the mirror. Aim with angles. Beat distance with rhythm. And when the moment comes, don't scream at the wind, speak to the horizon. It's a better listener than you think. You are not helpless. You are a lighthouse that discovered legs and pockets. Shine like you mean it. If you made it this far, I want your field stories. Have you ever used a mirror, a phone, or water to signal at distance? What worked, what didn't, and what would you try different after today? Drop your tactics, your tweaks, your hacks. If you're planning to test this weekend, tell me where. And if you're ready to make it a habit, type sun in the comments so I know you're in. Shine if you're safe. Shine until you are.